In 2004, one of the biggest changes in Formula 1 games was implemented. They removed the Formula from Formula and just called it F104. Meanwhile, 50,000 light years away on an unnamed planetoid occupied by little furry creatures that look like Ewoks, they experienced an earthquake 15.3 on the Richter scale. This earthquake destroyed all life on that planet. Fuck you, Studio Liverpool. Now look and see what you've done. Hello everyone and welcome back to The Complete Guide. This is part 22 and today I present to you F104. Let's go into the display set. As you can see, you can have it in normal 4x3, which is the old TV screen size, or widescreen 16:9. Okay, let's go into a arcade race now and let's have a look at some of the teams we can pick for 2004. We got Ferrari, we've got BMW Williams. Our next team is McLaren Mercedes. Then we've got the Renault team. Then on to BAR Honda. Sauber Petronas was next, followed by Jaguar. And then we had Panasonic Toyota Racing, Jordan Ford, and of course Minardi Cosworth. Okay, let's have a look at some of the circuits for 2004 because there are some new ones. We've got Australia, then we've got Kuala Lumpur, which of course was the Malaysian Grand Prix, then on to Bahrain, which was our first new track in 2004, then on to more traditional circuits like Imola, and then of course Spain in Catalonia, Monte Carlo in Monaco of course, then on to the European Grand Prix, which is at the Nürburgring in 2004. Then of course we went to the Canadian Grand Prix, which is in Montreal, on to the United States Grand Prix, and then of course the French Grand Prix. Our next circuit of course was Silverstone for the British Grand Prix, and then on to Hockenheim for the German Grand Prix. And then of course we went to Hungary at Budapest, followed by Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgium Grand Prix. And then we went to Monza, the glorious Monza circuit. And then of course we went to Shanghai, which was new, the Chinese Grand Prix for 2004. And then we went to Suzuka, I think, to finish off the season almost, but not forgetting of course Brazil. Okay then, it's time for the arcade mode. As the lights go out, then it's away we go. I'm Miss David Coulthard, as you can see. And while we're going round, I'm going to tell you some little snippets of information about the game, but first it's pretty much the same as it was in last year's version. You've got a damage indicator which fills up. If it gets to the end, then smoke starts pouring out the back of the car until you finish the lap and it all gets repaired, and it's away you go again once more. Formula 104 is a racing video game based on the 2004 season of the Formula 1 World Championship. It was developed by Sony Computer Entertainment Studio Liverpool for the PlayStation 2 and was released in Europe on June the 30th, 2004. The game features all the teams and 20 drivers competing in the 2004 season, except of course for the mid-season changes, as well as the 18 circuits and Grand Prix that form the championship, including the new Bahrain International Circuit and the Shanghai International Circuit. It is the first Formula 1 game to contain a career mode, which allowed players to work their way through the Formula 1 teams over the course of a fixed number of seasons. Players would start out testing in a generic Formula 1 car, and if they did well enough in the test, they would be offered a contract by a small team such as Minardi. Players would then work their way up the grid throughout their career through a mixture of good performance tests and impressive race performances. The game also had net play available. This is the only F1 game in the series to be changed in terms of gameplay after the original release. In the original version, there was a bug which, when during the timing of AI pit stops, all the field crawled at pit lane speed. Then they sped up once a few of the AI cars had made their stop, and it was very common to be following a car which suddenly came to a halt and you would end up hitting their rear and ending their race. And more about that later. Now onto the difficulty screen. As you can see, we have a new mode now for the difficulty. We've now got professional, semi-pro, amateur and rookie now, and now you can adjust the race distance in percentages from 10%, 20% all the way up to 100%, and in fact you can also do 75% now. Let's have a look at the weather conditions. You can have it of course in rainy conditions or dry, and once again the static camera can be fixed or dynamic. Let's go to a custom race now. As you can see, we can also adjust the amount of laps that we're going to do, and we're gone to Australia now. We're in a Sauber, I do believe. This of course is all the sessions. You've got the Friday practice and the qualifying, and as you can also see, finally we get a 2-stop race. This is only a 75% race, but the cars do come in and stop twice, which is fantastic because of course this is now a brand new game engine for F104. Yes, this was built from the ground up, and because of that they managed to put in proper pit stop routine. So on a full 100% race distance, the cars all stop 3 times, which was on par with what they were doing in real life. But be warned though, I have heard reports that on 100% races it does crash before it gets to the end on certain circuits. So I always used to stick to 75% races, which still gave you a good impressive 2-stop strategy. Okay, let's have a look at some of the improvements they made for F104. As you can see, we've still got the mini map, which has now been pushed over to the right hand side of the screen, and unfortunately still it only shows the car in front and the car behind. But finally now we have a screen which tells you all the drivers' positions in the race, not just a few of them. Okay, let's have a look at the glorious cockpit view now, which has also been improved for 2004, and we've got this sort of visor at the top of the screen, as you can see in white there, but still it's an absolutely fantastic cockpit view. And once again with the dynamic camera angle, when you go into the corners it actually follows your helmet line. As you can see there, we're going into the corner there. Wow, it's absolutely fantastic. Once again you can adjust the brake bias on the fly, and of course the traction control. And now we've gone to the chase view, which I'm just going to show you in a moment as we go down the start and finish line, because you can actually see some slipstreaming effect coming off the back of the rear wing. Now of course this was one of the first games where they tried to make it more simulation. The previous games had gone a sort of arcadey in the handling route, but this one was really trying its best and tempt people back after a lot of them had been seduced by the bright neon lights of the Need for Speed series. Okay, there you just saw there, and also saw some brake dust coming up as well. It's another new effect, but there you go. That was the slipstream effect. Now this is the pit stop glitch. As you can see, we've got a yellow flag. We're coming down the start and finish line. As you can also see, oh my goodness, there's cars all over the circuit. Now I shall show you why in a moment, but first listen to the engine. So that horrible noise was the cars actually slowing down. As you can see, one's just ploughed straight into the back because he's come out of the pit lane. He's doing about 5 miles an hour, and it just causes total chaos. As you can see, lots of crashes. There's Felipe Massa with a wheel off, and there you go, the Minardi crashes straight into him. So that was the pit stop glitch. When other cars came into the pits, their teammates used to slow down to an absolute crawl, which caused a huge pile up in a lot of the races, and that's why it was changed for the Platinum release. Okay, it's time for the Monaco test once more. We're now in a Williams, and it's time to say go go go. As we approach into turn 1, we're of course in 14th position, and it looks pretty glorious as you can see as we climb up the hill. The graphics, I have to say, are pretty much the same as last year's version, even though this is a brand new game engine, but that's nothing to take away from the fact that the graphics in this game are absolutely gorgeous. As we go down now into the casino section, and you can see all the buildings in the background, and as I say, it looks very impressive indeed. But are we going to get round okay, or is it going to be a clusterfuck? Well, of course this is a Studio Liverpool game, so it should be absolutely glorious. And it is. Yes, we get round the casino hairpin, no problem whatsoever. As we go through the tunnel now, let's have a look. Well, yes, it's pretty dark, but we can still see where we're going. So I would say overall that was a pretty successful Monaco test. Okay, now we move on to the next part of the game, and that is the rather crap career mode. Okay, first of all, we're going to enter in our name for our driver. Oh god, I wish I could type properly, but there you go. So we put in the name of our driver, and after that we will be able to choose our avatar. And yes, once again it is my displeasure to announce that there are no female avatars in this game for you to select. This is just not on Studio Liverpool. Sort it out. But thankfully in later games they did. So we choose our nationality, and there's quite a few mug shots of blokes that we can choose for our career mode. There you go, quite a few. You just basically pick the one that looks pretty much like you, or you just don't bother at all. Okay, so now we go on to the career mode hub screen. As you can see, we've got a driver test session. So there's also lots of other things you can do on these screens. You can scroll through the results of the races, your race statistics, and everything else. It's all pretty glorious stuff. Anyway, let's continue on in our career mode now. And dear Carmen Jordan, you have been invited to take part in a private test session. Wow, so on we go to our private test session. As you can see, we're in a generic car now. Yes, we're not in any of the Formula 1 cars, it's just a generic car. As we cross the line, we've got to beat a time of 1:19. As you can see, we have done it already, but we've got 5 laps to cross the line, and we managed to do it there. There you go, 1:18.3. So our test has been successful. So we move on, and we've now got job offers from Toyota, Jordan and Minardi. So let's have a look first and see what the offers are. Now, of course, unfortunately, it never actually told you what the actual offer was. It just said that, you know, we will be sending it through to you shortly. As you can see, if you can read all that gumph in the time it takes me to flick over to the next bit of the editing, which you probably won't be able to. Anyway, here we go then. Here's the Toyota offer. As you can see, it's just a test driver role. Now, we don't really want to take that, do we? Because that means for almost 3/4 of the first season, we'll just be doing tests. But we move on to Jordan, and they've offered us a second driver contract. Now that sounds like the sort of thing that we want to do. So we accept that contract, and now with a second driver for Jordan, the screen changes to the colours of the team that you're currently driving for. Oh, it's all pretty glorious, I have to say. So off we go then to start our 5-year career in the Jordan. As you can see, there's all the practice sessions and the qualifying, which was now only on a Saturday. Of course, that was changed from last year. So let's just have a look at the practice screen. There you go. And let's go to the car setup now, which has also changed for 2004. You can now have a choice. If you're not that good at setting up the car, you could have grip, speed, or you can have it as your own customization. But as I say, if you weren't that good, you could just pick either grip or speed. And you can also do the same for the car balance and for the gearing as well, and also for the car ride. You could almost just tailor it if you just wanted to get out there on the track as quick as possible and not have to fiddle around with all the settings. As you can see, there's lots of settings to change. The normal Formula 1 fare, you've got the steering lock, which you can go right to 80% or leave it on 66. Of course, the higher up the steering lock, that does affect your tyre wear. You can also adjust the front and rear wing settings, the brake bias settings, the brake type, either thin, medium or thick, and of course you can adjust the front camber, the tyres from dry, intermediates or wet, and of course the ride height, the front bump dampening. Oh, it's all there. All the stuff you'd expect to see in a Formula 1 game is there. So off we go, the 5 lights go out, and we start our career mode in the Jordan. And this is basically where it all starts to go horribly tits up. Yes, as you can see from the top of the screen, we've got 12 laps. These laps are fixed. There is no way of altering the laps whatsoever. There's also no pit stops in the race, and the difficulty is set to pretty much bloody impossible. Yes, there's no way to change the difficulty, and basically if you make 2 mistakes, if you crash out in one of the races and in the next race you perform pretty badly, that's it. There are no free strikes in this game. You are out and you have to return to the test driver role. This was a massive missed opportunity for a career mode. It's a sort of beta test for next year's F105, if you'd like to call it that, but it's a really poor career mode, it has to be said. I've never actually got past the first season because I've always been kicked out. Even when I was pretty good at these games, I was always kicked out before the end of the first season. I had to go back to the test driver role, and it's just so demoralising that you just can't be bothered. There's just no incentive to carry on with the game once you've been kicked out of your team. So a massively missed opportunity there to have a decent career mode in F104, but thankfully for the follow-up game they did fix a lot of those issues. Unfortunately for that game they fixed those issues by making it in the reverse of being too difficult, and they made it too easy. But there you go, they tried their best. So that's the flawed career mode in F104. Okay then, it's time once again to test the damage model out on this game. We're now in Ruby Barrichello's Ferrari, and I think we're in Japan. Yes, we are in Japan. Let's see how much damage we can cause. Of course, we've turned those horrible penalties off, and we go straight into the back of Ronaldo. Oh my god, look at the strength of that front wing though. Look at that. Our front wing is still on as we try now to smash into a few more cars, and we've lost the front wheel. I don't believe it. Horsey has gone lame already, and we've retired. Anyway, on to another attempt at that. Let's see what we can do there. We plough straight into the back of Ronaldo once again, but this time the front wing is still on. Oh, there's more contact. Oh, I think we're doing quite well actually. As we, oh shit, I spoke too soon, and I've taken both wheels off this time, and I think I'm going to retire again. Yes, I am. Okay, this time I've turned the car around, and we're going to hunt them down like Jaws. Here we go. Let's hunt for them. Let's see if they come. Yes, come on. Here they come. We're going to approach them now. Let's get them. Let's get them, lads. Let's get them. Oh god, that didn't work very well, did it? And so I've lost another wheel. I've taken the wheel off the Williams, as you can see there. Okay, one more time then. Let's see how much more damage. Now, unfortunately, in this game, oh my god, I've got a red something. I think that means I've got a brake problem. I don't know. Now, that's just about to say, unfortunately, in this game, they removed a lot of the over-the-top crash physics from the previous games of F1 2003 and F1 2002, and of course F1 2001, which was when all these crazy crash physics were first introduced. It is a shame, I have to say, that now all that seems to happen when you crash into the cars is you get a dull thump and your wheels come off. It's, as you can see, it's just, I just used to love it when the cars used to go flying up in the air. But there you go, that's progress for you, and once again I've crashed out, and basically that's all you can do with the damage. Very, very disappointing indeed. Anyway, I haven't done the pit stops yet, so let's do that before we end this video. So in we come for our pit stop. As you can see, the big wheel in the background. We once again have to inform our pit crew that we're coming in, otherwise they're not ready for us. And we're going to go onto the groove tyres. Now this seems to stick onto the T-cam as we come into the pits, which is a bit disappointing. I do like it when it sort of scans around when you're in the pits as you're going for your stop, but on this game, no, it seems to get stuck on the T-cam mode. So we rejoin the field now. Obviously we're going to be pretty bloody last, but there you go. So to summarise then, is this game worth buying? Well, the original version, which is what you're seeing here, probably not, because that pit stop glitch is very, very bloody annoying indeed. But of course the platinum version, yes, it is a fantastic game in championship mode. I seriously though wouldn't even bother with the career mode, because as I've said, it's very, very flawed indeed. But yes, it is another fantastic game from the Studio Liverpool Formula 1 back catalogue, and of course it once again will be available from your local eBay or Amazon merchant for probably about £1 or £2 with postage and packing. So in the end, the decision is entirely yours. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. There will of course be more later.